Slingshot, the product.
Hi, thanks.
And by the way, it comes because we just saw biotech, which I refuse to learn, but with Stocktwits and other tools, I should be able to quickly ask experts questions. You know, GLG built a multi-billion-dollar business putting experts together. Twitter loosely does it. Stocktwits obviously loosely does it, and we want to make it tighter. So talk about how Slingshot fits into that.
Thank you, first of all, Howard, for having me up on short notice. I wasn't scheduled, but appreciate it. And I'm really happy to follow Brad. We've been talking for months about his index and biotech in general, ways we can work together. The company Slingshot Insights is really about fundamental diligence and thinking from a retail perspective, a small investor perspective, about how you diligence stocks like professionals do. Biotech is our first focus, and healthcare is our first focus because really it's a very complicated industry where even if you spend your entire life in immuno-oncology, you might not want to go and invest in a diabetes company. So our first product is expert interviews, and Howard mentioned GLG. They built a really large business over the last decade and a half. Professional investors spend about $250 million a year talking to experts. Almost no retail people spend any money on it. And so we tried to solve that problem by doing crowdfunding of these expert calls. So we get as many of you in the room and across the world together, have one person kind of organize and lead the call, and everybody splits the cost of it. So the idea is that we talk to people that are the same caliber as Fidelity or Point72 and the big hedge funds of the world. They cost maybe $1,000 an hour, but through the power of sharing and crowdfunding and all, and organization, it costs you a fraction of the amount. And so then a complicated industry like immunotherapy can be really digested and understood, and targeted questions can be asked. And that's the hope of it.
Yeah, so that's why I was excited. He's around, you're raising capital, right?
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting concept because in the world we live in, we like Stocktoberfest, but there should be a Stocktoberfest every hour, every minute for people to collaborate around a subject they don't understand. So that's the vision.
That's the vision. I think one point watching this morning around short selling and Herb, Brad talked about some of the amazing things going on in biotech, but one of the things I really hate to see and watch all the time on the streams of Stocktwits are people who are listening to just management. They're just taking the word, hey, it's a $1 billion industry, it's a $1 billion product, this stuff's great. Sure, phase 2 failed, but we figured it out, And there's a lot of stuff where, a little bit of insight, a little bit of time can avoid a lot of pain for people who are believing that. I was joking around that I was almost nervous coming in here after all the hate mail I get on Stocktwits sometimes for saying stay away.
Well, when there's hate, there could be something else.
Right, well, it's like...
So where were you before? Where'd you work before?
Before this, I was a long-short analyst at what was SAC, CR Intrinsic, now it's Point72, but I was focused on biotech and healthcare for about 4.5 years. We use these calls all the time. I came from a finance background, and I invested in biotech for 5 years. I needed to do this kind of stuff to know what was going on. But my point earlier was just that the way you can avoid those painful shorts, or to Herb's point this morning, you don't need to be short. You just miss the 80% down day. There's a lot of value in, asking experts who aren't biased by management that can give you the real answer and really put a more appropriate risk profile on the investment before you get burned.
Yeah, this idea is going to happen. Crowdfunding's happening everywhere else, so that's why I'm intrigued. You're around the rest of the day.
We're around the rest of the day and in the evening.
Good job.
We're actually right outside the door here to the right, so if you come by, we can chat and give you some more information.
Good job, really cool. All right, Jay.